Off your phones, please. Off your phones. Good evening. Welcome to Crawley Borough Council's Planning Committee meeting. I'm Councillor Pritchard, Chair of the committee. There are no scheduled fire drills tonight, so in the event of a fire alarm, please leave the building via the spiral staircase and the main entrance. Once outside, turn left and go to the fire assembly point on Exchange Road. If you're unable to use the stairs, you will be guided by a member of staff to the evacuation lift. This meeting is being live streamed via the Council's YouTube account. Please note there are no comment functions available online. After the meeting, the recording will be uploaded to the YouTube page. Please note that that the Council is the data controller under the Data Protection Act. Data collected during the webcast will be retained in accordance with the Council's published retention policy. Anyone seated in the public gallery should be aware that they may be filmed by the automated camera system and your image may be captured. Therefore, by entering the meeting room, you are consenting to being filmed and to the possible use of those images and sound recordings for webcasting or training purposes. Councillors are asked to take note of what is displayed on the screens in the room as they will show what is being recorded. Please request to speak as usual by raising your hand. When I call on you to speak, press the button on the microphone with a face on it and it will light up green when you are live. The meeting agenda is available on the Council website. Around these tables sit the committee members who will be taking decisions on the items before them. Officers of the Council are also in attendance, and I will invite them to introduce themselves now, beginning with the gentleman to my right.
Good evening, Siraj Chowdhury, Head of Governance, People and Performance.
Good evening, I'm Jess Tamplin, Democratic Services Officer.
Good evening, Val Cheeseman, Principal Planning Officer.
Okay, we've received apologies from Councillor Mullins, Councillor Jaggard, Councillor Bounds. Is there any other apologies? Okay, we will now take items 2 and 3 together. I will call upon committee members to declare any interests or lobbying. Please also declare if you visited any of the sites. Councillor Ali.
Thank you, Chair. I have personal interest to declare for agenda item 5 and 6 as a member of West Sussex County Council, and both of these applicant sites are in my division. And I have visited the agenda item 5 and agenda item 6 sites. I haven't been lobbied, no.
Okay, Councillor Chariton.
I have no personal interest in this. I have visited the site together with yourself. I think it's agenda item 5, is it?
Item 6.
Item 6, yeah. And no lobbying either.
Councillor Kieran Khan.
Hello everyone, good evening. I have no personal interests to declare in any of the items, and last time I checked I haven't been lobbied on any of the items. Thank you.
Councillor Yasmin Khan.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you, Chair. I've got no interest to declare, and I've not been lobbied, and I've not visited any sites.
Councillor Magali.
Good evening. I have no interest to declare. I have not been lobbied and have not visited the sites.
Councillor Nawaz. For anyone watching on YouTube, Councillor Nawaz has no interest to declare. And can I ask?
Can I try this
Yes.
one, Chair? Thank you. I've got no interest to declare and not been lobbied as well, but I have visited the agenda item number 6 site on the agenda. Thank you.
Okay, and my declaration, I have not been lobbied, I have no interest to declare, and I have also visited the site for planning application, agenda item 6. Now we come to the minutes of the last meeting held on 9th of January 2024. Does the committee agree that the minutes are an accurate record of the meeting?
Agreed.
Great. We will now move on to agenda item 5, which is a tree preservation order application CR 2023-0510 TPO, Woldhurstlea Wood, Buckswood Drive, trees to the rear of 40 Tintern Road, Gossops Green, Crawley. Please can the planning officer introduce the report?
Thank you, Chair. This is a Crawley Borough Council application for works to 3 trees in Woldhurstlea Wood. They are the subject of a tree preservation order, and the trees overhang the rear boundary of number 40 Tintern Road. I'll now show you some photographs of the trees. So the larger tree here, that's the oak, and you can see the boundary fence of the rear garden. Then this is the maple here, and then the ash, and again you can see the boundary fence at the bottom of the photograph. That's another view, the ash and the maple with the oak behind it. They're all growing very closely together. And then a photograph of the crowns of all 3 trees together. The reduction in the height and crown of the trees is considered to be acceptable in their context of being part of the wood and would reduce the impact on the adjacent property. The recommendation is to grant consent. Thank you.
There are no speakers registered in regard to this item. We will now move on to the debate. Committee members wishing to speak should raise their hand. The officer will respond to queries one by one. Councillor Nawaz.
Thanks, Chair. Just wanted to ask how we found out we need to put a TPO. Is that complaint or is that routine visit, or why? Or resident wants to cut because it's coming into the garden? What was the reason were you putting that TPO?
I don't have the exact details, but I would imagine it's a TPO that's been in place for a while, because there's been various applications for tree works, and possibly because it is close to the dwellings, so potentially they could be requests for lots of work to the trees, so that's why that's been put on.
Thanks, Chair. Just supplementary on that. Does that mean these trees already have a TPO?
Yes, they do. So this is an application for works to the 3 of the trees within the wood.
Okay.
Any other colleagues wish to speak? All committee members have had the opportunity to speak, so we'll move on to the vote. The recommendation is to consent. Is there someone to move the recommendation? Councillor Ali. And a seconder, Councillor Kieran Khan. Can I ask for a show of hands for all those for? That's unanimous. Application CR 2023-0510 TPO, Woldhurstlea Wood, Buckswood Drive, trees to the rear of 40 Tintern Road, has been given consent. We will now move on to agenda item 6, planning application CR 2023-0658 FUL, 93 Downland Drive, Southgate, Crawley. Can the officer please give the report?
Thank you. This is a retrospective application for a single-storey rear extension on this property in Downland Drive. So these properties have a pedestrian access path to the front, and then to the rear, Darley Dale is where they gain vehicular access with garages in the rear gardens, as shown on the plan. From the plan, you can see it's a terraced property, and there is a stagger in the line of the dwellings, particularly with number 91 projecting further to the rear. So this is the existing and proposed block plan. So that's the existing property, and then this is with the extension added to the rear, and then that's the garage in this position. So existing floor plans with the living room, dining room, kitchen area, toilet, and then stairs at ground floor, and then 3 bedrooms and a bathroom above. And then the proposed, which includes the extension. I'll just draw it up a bit more. So that's an extension to the living dining room, all the way through room from front to back, and then an office stroke bedroom. And then in terms of elevations, it's single storey with a flat roof. You can see it's just set away slightly from the boundary with 95, and patio doors and a window in the rear elevation. I've got some photographs, 2 sets. First of all, this is from the planning officer's photographs, and these were taken in October last year. So that was before the works had commenced. So this is the rear elevation, and you can just see the corner of 93's garage there. And then this is looking across to the boundary with number 95, and you can see their fence and the side wall of their garage. And then this is looking across the other side, so that's the side wall of number 91, and you can see the stagger between the dwellings with the rear wall of 91 projecting further past the subject property. This is moving back down the garden, and you can see the garage here for number 93, and you can also see the difference in height between the dwellings with number 91 set higher up. Then this is the view from Darley Dale, where the vehicular access is achieved, and you can also see just here the existing extension to number 91, which has got a mono-pitched roof. Then this is the side wall of 91, and then the rear of 93's garage. So you can see that the space there that existed. And then looking across to the other side, another view of number 95's fence and that's garage, its garage. And then finally, this is from the rear wall of the house, looking towards its own garage and the side wall of 91. Then we have some more recent photographs here. These have been supplied by the agent. So this is the view of the extension from the rear garden. See, it's the flat roof and the patio doors and the windows that I referred to. A bit of a close-up to show you. And then this is the side wall with 95, and you can see a small section of blockwork there, and then surrounded by the brickwork. The application is for an extension to the dwelling, and that's explained in the report. and also because of the size and scale of the extension, particularly single storey, it is not considered that an adverse impact is caused. The recommendation is to grant planning permission. Thank you.
There are no speakers in regard to this item. We will now move to the debate. Committee members wishing to speak should raise their hand. The officer will respond to queries one by one. All committee members have had the opportunity to speak, so we'll move on to the vote. The recommendation is to... Councillor Charlton.
That was a bit slow off the mark, but I did want to ask. Can I have it confirmed by the planning officers that, because a number of the objections seem to be that there's concern that the property is going to be turned into an HMO, a house of multiple occupancy, or a place of multiple occupancy. Is that a consideration for this evening's planning committee? Is that something we can take into account? Neighbours seem concerned that it will cause problems with parking, parking is very tight in the area as it is, and they're very concerned that if it does get turned into an HMO, it's going to cause lots of headaches for them. We had that expressed somewhat on the day of our visit, I think, as well. Would you care to comment?
The current use of the property is as a dwelling. So there hasn't been a change of use at the moment, so we have to assess the application as that. They've applied for a householder extension, so that's what we make the decision on. In terms of any future use of the premises, if it was to be a small HMO, so that's 6 or under occupants, then that would be permitted development, so they wouldn't need planning permission to change to that, although they would need an application to deal with water neutrality. If it was to go to more than 6 occupants, then that would need planning permission, and at that point we could then look at parking and impact on the neighbourhood, on the area, and also water neutrality at that point. But that's all in the future. That's not for us to determine today.
Any further questions from colleagues? Okay, all committee members have had the opportunity to speak, so we'll now move on to the vote. The recommendation is to permit. Is there someone to move the recommendation? Councillor Magali, seconded by Councillor Ali. Can I ask for a show of hands for all those for? That is also unanimous. So application CR 2023-0658 FUL 93 Downland Drive, Southgate, Crawley has been permitted subject to the conditions in the report. Moving on to agenda item 7, section 106 Monies quarter 2 and 3 of 23-24. I do apologise that the head of Economy and Planning isn't able to be with us this evening. Any questions asked by councillors will be passed to him and a response will be given in writing. Are there any comments or questions? Okay, can I ask, is that report taken as noted? Thank you. There is no supplementary agenda, so the business of the committee is concluded. The meeting is now closed at 19:48. I beat Councillor Lamb's record. Thank you, everyone.